Welcome to Healthier and Happier Humans, episode 33. I'm Ashley McGee, and I am so excited to be joined tonight by Jackie Ayotte. And she's here to talk about essential oils and health and all of the things. So, Jackie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I live on the East Coast. I am a mom of three. My kids are almost 4, just turned 9, and almost 11. I have been a massage therapist for going on 17 years. Sounds crazy to say that. I am a wellness advocate with doTERRA essential oils. So I've been using essential oils for about 7 years on my family, and obviously within my wellness center as well. And I've just noticed amazing results in addressing kind of day-to-day stuff that comes up for families or individuals. So in the last 3 or 4 years, I've started kind of educating people and hosting classes and kind of sharing them with as many people as I can. So it's just been a big passion of mine.
That's awesome. So, what initially got you into essential oils? Was it like there was like one big thing that you found a solution for, or was it kind of a gradual thing?
So it was more or less gradual. I was raised very holistic in our approach to medication and in health and wellness in general. We didn't really go to doctors. We didn't really take medications. My mom treated a lot of different things. My brother's asthma. I had a lazy eye with chiropractic and acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
So holistic medicine was always very natural for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when my sister-in-law, she's the one that introduced me to essential oils, I immediately loved them, but I had no idea what they were, how they worked. I liked playing scientist and kind of just diffusing them and adding them to my water, but I didn't really know the medicinal benefits of them. But when my husband and I started our family, we agreed that as much as possible, whatever went in or on our children would be as safe and natural and organic as possible. But I kind of found out quickly that trusting labels wasn't necessarily the safe option. So when she introduced me, my oldest was 4.5. And like I said, I was kind of playing around with the oils, just enjoying their smell and adding them to my water. But one night he was going to bed, and I mean, I'm not a doctor, but moms are fairly intuitive, and I knew it was pink eye that was starting. His eyes were pink and goopy and really irritated, and he was miserable. One eye was actually kind of almost gooped shut. So not being somebody that rushes to the ER for every little thing, and obviously the pediatrician's office was closed by then. So I got my little book out and I looked up pink eye, and it said to use tea tree oil, just right along the sinus bone. So I really didn't think anything was going to work. I was like, all right, it's not going to hurt him, so I'll try it. So I did. I just placed like my finger on top of the bottle, got a drop on my finger, and put it right on his sinus bones. And I figured by morning I would take him to the doctor and get the drops or whatever. And by morning it was completely cleared up. There was not one sign of anything. So needless to say, I was very amazed, but I was also like, okay, I got to do my research, and obviously there's something to these things. So I started to just research and kind of strategically place them in areas where I would normally reach for something over the counter. And over time, I kind of retrained my brain to reach for the natural solutions before something over the counter. And now 7 years later, our entire household has been switched over to natural products. My kids have not missed school, obviously minus right now.
This is
This isn't really a reality. But they haven't missed school in almost 7 years from getting sick. So anything that's really, come up on a daily basis or whenever, I have something to treat it naturally. So it's been really a blessing because our healthcare costs are down, our, out-of-pocket expenses are down. None of us are on any prescription medications. So it's been a very empowering journey for me as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And even as a therapist, there's there's only so much that massage can do for my clients. There comes a time where it's a little maybe deeper rooted, or something that needs to be kind of treated more internally. So I've been able to really get a lot of success for my clients as well.
That's awesome. And I know there's some moms that are watching this going, hold on, what did you just say? Your kids haven't been sick in 7 years? So I assume that there is kind of a combination of approaches there, both preventative and then also, when something does come up, you have solutions to kind of get them through that really quickly. Can you tell me a little bit more about kind of what your approach is?
Absolutely. So there's a blend called On Guard. It's the protective blend, and that's what I use preventatively. Obviously, right now I'm using it, like going through it like crazy. I mean, I have it diffusing. Yeah. Yeah. Morning, noon, and night. It's in our diffusers. Every single night, I rub the bottom of my kids' feet with it. You can get it in a roller bottle form or in the 15 milliliter bottle that you just kind of put in the palm of your hands and rub the bottom of their feet. I also try to get the On Guard beadlets. They're tiny little, they look like little fish eggs that they can take internally. I have them just swallow 3 of them. My older one is almost 11, and he can take, it's called a soft gel. It's just the On Guard soft gels. They're like the size of a vitamin E capsule. So we, as best as we can, will do that daily, but without fail, they're always, every single night. That's just part of our routine. They just stick their feet up and I roll them. And I believe that that's why they haven't missed. In fact, I know that that's why they haven't missed any school. If they do get a sniffle or a sore throat, it's knocked out. Like, their immune systems are really high right now. So everything is just knocked out right away. I have, like you mentioned, when something comes up, I also have things that, because I've kind of strategically trained myself to reach for natural solutions, I've reduced fevers with peppermint oil on the bottom of their feet. Trouble sleeping, obviously lavender in the diffuser or along their spine. The vitamins, the kids' vitamins have been a huge difference. The supplement line for my husband and I, as much as I know that I couldn't live without the essential oils, but if somebody said, you could only choose one product for the rest of your life, hands down, without a doubt, it would be the supplement line. For me, that was the biggest game changer in my foundation of health. I had a very close bout with polymyalgia, which, as a massage therapist, as anybody, I mean, we need our bodies to function, but as a massage therapist, it really, really woke me up and scared me. And after doing an 8-week elimination diet and realizing what my triggers were and realizing that I had a lot of inflammation in my body, at the time I wasn't using the vitamins. I just was eliminating, certain foods and caffeine and alcohol, and I started working out like crazy, and I felt 90% better. But there was still some residual aches and pains and kind of brain fog that I knew something was wrong. I knew something needed to change. So having been somebody who took vitamins but never was like, couldn't live without vitamins, I knew that was really the only thing I could take a look at to do differently. Mm-hmm. So I remembered my sister-in-law telling me about the vitamins through doTERRA, and at the time I was like, they're vitamins and this is an essential oil company, like, I don't get it. Why would they be so much better? But they're actually infused with a matrix of 9 essential oils, so like frankincense and ginger and a bunch of things that have really high properties. And by the 4th day of me taking them, all the residual aches and pains were gone. At the time I had a newborn, so I was nursing, but that was the only thing that like kept me up at night. Otherwise, my years of previous insomnia pretty much went away. The residual aches and pains from the inflammation that was left over went away. So that was about 4 years ago. And I know now that if I didn't have my vitamins, my foundation of health would be completely different. So yeah, there's things used on a preventative daily basis. Mm-hmm. And then there's a product for pretty much anything that comes up, 95% of health concerns.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's incredible. And I mean, just to hear your journey and how it's changed your life. At the time of this recording, we are month 2 of COVID lockdown. And so another thing is, I know people are really concerned about cleaning and keeping things kind of disinfected. And I know that I personally use essential oils in my cleaning, but I would love to hear more about what are some kind of easy swaps people can do, especially as things are so hard to find. They think they need to bleach everything. Well, you don't. So I'd love for you to talk more about that.
Right. So I mentioned the On Guard. On Guard is doTERRA's #1 essential oil blend, and it's so effective that they have an entire line of cleaning products with it, or line of products, I should say. So there's a concentrated cleaner that I use. I believe it's a 20-ounce bottle, and you use like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons in a glass spray bottle with water. It doesn't even have to be glass, but you just add water, and that's my everything cleaner. And On Guard is a blend of cinnamon, clove, wild orange, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And studies have shown that there's not a virus, a bacteria, or a fungus that can survive cinnamon's presence. So it's a really powerful, blend. And in fact, there's hospitals that are starting to use On Guard in their operating rooms to clean their operating rooms versus Lysol or Clorox. So that's our everything cleaner. When you diffuse oils, you're killing airborne pathogens. So On Guard is a great one to diffuse right now. Lemon has a lot of very natural cleansing properties. It's naturally detoxifying as well, so it's great to kind of add a drop or 2 to your water. Peppermint also has some disinfecting properties. There's a lot. I actually just finished a 1-week kind of Facebook group on natural cleaning, and how to swap out, regular over-the-counter products and utilize things that we have in our home anyway: baking soda, white vinegar, obviously essential oils. But yeah, I feel very confident that the germs and the bacteria are not in my home because of these products. So, and there's a lot of easy DIY swaps, like lemon to clean your glass or your stainless steel. There's a ton of information. I have an ebook that's available as well. If anybody, it's free. It's just, fun, different tips and tricks.
That's awesome.
If anyone's in. Yeah.
I'm going to need you to send that to me. So, I think a lot of times people can feel a little overwhelmed, right? Because there's a ton of oils out there. So many different, I've seen, I think I've seen actually the doTERRA like Bible, basically. That's just like, it's huge. So, I really like to leave my audience with like actionable things that they can do. So if you're, recommending that someone starts swapping, where do you recommend people start? What are some small steps people can start taking now?
I always tell my customers or my clients to, if it's from a health perspective, if they're looking for natural solutions for their health and wellness, their family's health and wellness, I always suggest that they start with the top 2 or 3 health concerns. So if somebody deals with migraines or trouble sleeping or anxiety, I always say start there. And I like to, I could obviously give a broad kind of general, there's top 10 kind of starter kits that can make over your medicine cabinet, and that's going to address 95% of what might arise on a daily basis. But I like to kind of have like one-on-one conversations and say, okay, Ashley, what are you dealing with? Like, what's going on with you? And kind of help you choose products that are going to best suit your needs. There's not really a general like cookie cutter answer to that. Having said that, the oils are extremely versatile. So if somebody wanted to start with like, lemon, peppermint, and lavender, which is probably the 3 most versatile oils you can find, that's going to address a whole gamut of health concerns: headaches, anxiety, trouble sleeping, allergies. You can clean with them. Lavender is a natural antihistamine, so insect bites. I mentioned peppermint for fever. So really there's like a whole broad spectrum of what it can do. But I like to just kind of coach my customers one-on-one. And anytime somebody does get products through me, they're plugged into a community of resources and education. I do kind of a follow-up, once they get their oils, we do a FaceTime or a Zoom, and I say, okay, this is exactly how you want to use these products. Set everything else aside. If you get the top 10 kit and you don't know how to use, whatever it might be for now, don't worry about it. Let's set up the 3 that are going to address the reasons that you're looking for health solutions or natural solutions to start with. There is kind of a daily protocol that I suggest for people that covers, it's kind of like your foundation of health. It does include the vitamins, but if people have vitamins that they love, that's totally fine. But, starting out your morning with frankincense under the tongue is going to be very calming, very grounding. It's going to help support any issues with inflammation, anxiety, things like that. On guard on a daily basis on the bottom of your feet, in your diffuser, lemon in your water to naturally cleanse and detoxify your body. Also citrus oils throughout the day just to kind of uplift the mood, and then lavender or balance or something at night to help sleep. So there's kind of different ways to answer that question, and I just always like to have that one-on-one kind of conversation with somebody so I can guide them to the area that is best going to serve them.
I think that's awesome too. It's a good point and a good reminder that in a world where there's all these one size fits all like solutions, like a lot of times we really need that personalized care. So that's awesome that you provide that. And that's something that's very important to you. Something I want to make sure that we hit on as we're kind of wrapping things up here is I know that quality of oils, like not all are created equal. And for someone that's just getting into oils, can you talk a little bit about quality and what they need to be looking for?
Absolutely. I was going to bring that up. So yeah, essential oils are so commonplace now, and which is great in itself because it shows that people are looking for better, safer, more natural solutions. However, you can buy essential oils everywhere. I mean, I've seen them at the dollar store. I've seen them at Walmart. I've seen them at Best Buy, which is weird to me because it's like there's no correlation. The number one tip that I can offer to people is if the label on the bottle, most of the labels are going to say 100% organic because the FDA requires only 10% of an organic constituent, whether it's essential oil, food, whatever it might be. It's only 10% of a constituent that needs to be organic in the product for them to legally label it 100% organic. The rest can be fillers, water, chemicals, synthetics, whatever. And that's when I started my family, I literally went down this like rabbit hole of, I was driving myself insane, reading labels, researching what like the scientific word of the ingredients were. I literally started to lose my mind. I'm like, okay, I need to rein it in because I'm never going to bathe my kids, So I realized that that's how I learned that like you really can't trust labels, and I'm not bashing the FDA. It's just, that's what their requirements are. So when you're looking for essential oils, if the label says 100% organic, turn it over and see if the warning label states, for topical use only or do not ingest or something along those lines. If you think about what an essential oil actually is, let's take wild orange. It's the essential oil of a wild orange is the naturally occurring compounds of the rind. It's what protects the orange, what protects the fruit. So when you peel an orange, the zest that comes up from the rind, that's the essential oil of the fruit. So in a bottle of doTERRA's wild orange, that's all you're getting is the rind. It's steam distilled or cold pressed. I don't even remember how many thousands of pounds of orange peels it is in one 15 milliliter bottle of wild orange. But if you think about if you're walking through, an orange grove, you should very well be able to pick an orange off the tree, peel it, and eat it. And maybe even bite the rind if you want to. There should be no reason why that could be harmful to your body. So if you get a bottle of orange, say at the dollar store, and it says 100% organic, and then it says do not ingest or topical use only, there should be a red flag that goes off that says something synthetic in here can harm my body internally. My school of thought is if it can hurt me internally, I'm not going to let it get into my olfactory system, and I'm sure as heck not going to put it on my pores as well, because it's all getting into your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be very mindful that if you see that label, that should be a red flag. doTERRA's oils, the ones that are safe to ingest, will actually have a supplement fact on the bottle. I'm looking for a bottle to show you, but it'll actually have a supplement fact on the back of the bottle that you'll know that it's safe for internal use. So I have an empty bottle of peppermint here. If you can kind of see the supplement, probably super small, but that's a good indicator that that's safe to take internally. So you can add a drop or two to your water. As I mentioned, frankincense, like directly under your tongue, like sublingually, is a very, very effective way to use the oils. Or you can even make your own veggie capsules. So just a word of advice to definitely read your labels when you're looking for oils.
That's good to know. The last thing I wanted to ask you, because I know, like, I'm trying to think of things that like could potentially harm people if they don't do it right with oils. Carrier oils, diluting in a carrier oil. Can you talk about that?
So, and that's part of what comes with like the education and the training. But when in doubt for children and infants, you always want to dilute. So if it's an infant, you're going to use in a 10, well, this is a 5 milliliter roller bottle. So if you do this or a 10 milliliter roller bottle, however old the infant is, you're going to use 1 drop. So if it's a month old, you use 1 drop with a carrier oil. As my kids have gotten older, and to be completely honest, after using these products for 7 years and trusting them completely, in cases where, take my son, who spiked like 100, almost 103 fever 2 years ago, I wasn't going to waste time to go look for my coconut oil. I grabbed my peppermint oil, I put it in the palm of my hands, and I swiped his feet. That's because I know and trust the oils. But as you're learning, you always want to dilute with children and babies. And then there's certain oils that are better to dilute with that are considered kind of hot oils. So your cinnamons, peppermint, oregano, you want to dilute those because they are hot. They could burn the skin. Obviously, you never put oils directly in your eyes, directly in your ears. If it's safe for internal use, you can put it directly in your mouth. And then another good use of a carrier oil, even though it might not be like, you don't absolutely have to, but a carrier oil essentially does carry the oil. So if you're applying it, say if you have back pain and you're applying it, like the carrier oil is not only going to spread a larger surface area, but because essential oils are volatile, so the second you open the bottle, it's, the aromatics are getting into the air. So what a carrier oil does is actually kind of trap the essential oil and drive it deeper into the pores. So using a carrier oil is actually very effective. I am lazy and I don't always look for my coconut oil, but I love to make roller bottles because it's diluted with a carrier oil anyway, and it's just so easy for topical use. So
that's good.
But yeah, you always want to dilute with little, little children and babies.
Awesome. Well, Jackie, I've learned something new, and I know people watching have definitely learned a lot here today. So where can people find you if they want to connect with you and learn more?
So I am on Facebook. They could send me a message through Messenger. I have a kind of public education page. It's called Simply Pure Solutions with Jackie. As I mentioned, I don't just send like here, order this. Like, I want to have a conversation with people. I want to get to know what they have going on and what their families have going on. So Messenger would be great. I'd be happy to, if you want to post my website link for them, whatever is easier.
I'll post all of your links in the notes on this episode. So
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time and just, sharing your knowledge. It's something, like I said, I use essential oils in my life, but I am certainly not an expert. So it was really nice to talk to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Have a wonderful night and rest of your week.
Thanks. You too.